Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. Well, today is a very exciting day because it marks the start of a 4-part series I've got for you all about brand colors. It's my very favorite topic when it comes to branding. It's probably, apart from the illustrating and seeing everything come together, is my favorite part of developing a brand personality. And I'm going to be sharing today specifically 3 mistakes that I see business owners make when they are choosing their own brand colors and what to do instead. And also continuing on from that in the weeks to come and sharing my framework for choosing brand colors. Also sort of a crash course in color psychology in the meaning of colors and how they work, and wrapping up with color formats and why they're so important when choosing your brand colors. So before we dive in, I first would like to remind you that enrollments are opening to Brand Alchemy this week on the 27th of July. If you would like to join the waitlist and have a little early sneak peek and first dibs to an incredible discount, an early bird discount that's not going to be around for very long, and a surprise gift worth $200, then please head on out to the link, down to the link in the show notes, and get yourself on the wait list for Brand Alchemy. That's all happening this week. And to celebrate, I am hosting a free workshop on the morning of the 27th of July from 10 a.m. Adelaide time to roughly 12 or 12:30, depending on how many questions we have, because it is going to be live and it is going to be interactive and it's going to be fun. And it's designed to help young businesses make an impact with their brand. If you are feeling foggy, if you're feeling confused when it comes to marketing, if you have absolutely no clue about this branding business, you are going to want to come along to that workshop. So I've popped a link in the show notes there for you as well. But if you want to get along to rachelreiter.com/brandcamp, there's still time to register. And please, if you know any other ladies in business in those early stages of brand building, invite them along, because this is the very first time and only time I'm going to be hosting it for free. Next time it will be a paid workshop. So that's very exciting. I also have some surprises up my sleeve for those that are there live. So all happening this week, but now we're going to dive into brand colors. So what else I would like you to do is subscribe to the podcast if you are interested in choosing colors for your brands in a way that is aligned and not just sort of randomly, willy-nilly, no idea, sort of plucking out of thin air, which unfortunately seems to be the way of it. So make sure you're subscribed so that you get a notification each time a podcast comes out. It's going to be 4 weeks of brand color goodness. So let's dive in. Let's talk about brand colors first and what they can actually do for your business. Your brand colors are a method of communication. They're just one of the many ways that you can communicate your brand message and encourage your audience to feel a certain way about your product or service, or, interacting with you. And they're actually a very effective way that you can control the message that you are sending, if you just have a little know-how. And that's why I'm presenting this series. But the question is how. So when you're choosing your brand colors with intention and strategy, rather than what you like or what you're appealed to, they can actually help to encourage initial attraction to your brand. They can evoke an emotional response and, above all, stimulate recall, which makes your brand more memorable. And that's exactly what we want. But it all comes down to making a plan. So what I'm going to do now is share the 3 biggest mistakes that I see business owners making when they are in those early brand building stages and they're putting things together. Maybe they have just registered their business name and they want to design a logo because that's, that's generally the way that people do it, not necessarily correct, but that's a whole nother story. And of course, you need brand colors to design a logo. So let's dive into these mistakes and then I will share what to do instead. So tell me if you're guilty of this, by the way, and there's no shame in it. It's just, I think everybody has made these mistakes at some point. But I would love to hear from you. Let me know on Instagram if you're guilty of this and if it opened your eyes to anything. So mistake number 1 is choosing their favorite color. Can I tell you a story? Whenever I ask anybody what they think my favorite color is, they always say turquoise or aqua or, the like the greeny blue color. Then they're like, that one that you use for your brand, which gets me excited because it means that people are associating that color with me and I am my brand. and they're remembering it, they're recalling it. It's quite funny because it's not my favorite color. It's actually been chosen strategically. So this is probably the most common mistake in new business owners, is that they pick a color that they love, that they think represents them on a personal level, and not thinking, of the bigger picture of how they're wanting to be perceived. Okay, so a bit of a bombshell. Your brand is not about you necessarily. It's, obviously the brand that you are building is designed to facilitate a life that you are wanting to create, a purpose that you want to fulfill, but you are essentially helping people, and you need to attract people to your product or service in order to fulfill that purpose, in order to make those sales, in order to grow your audience. And what you're wanting to be doing is attracting the right people so that you have a collection, a container of people who fit this category, who all have these same desires and needs that you can then, really resonate with you and your brand. So I hope that helps to clear that up for you, that the way that you are presenting your brand is not necessarily how you would present yourself from a personal perspective, is that you need to show up in the right way, including your colors, to attract the right people. And I will be diving into that a little bit more in this series as well. But the second mistake is playing it safe. Okay. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of color. It's a magnificent tool. All you need is the right know-how. So if you are copying color palettes from your competitors, or you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and sort of like trying one color this week and trying on another color another week that you see other people in your niche using, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not standing out. You're not presenting confidently. And, you're actually blending in by copying other people in your marketplace. You're going to be blending in, and that's not helpful. You want to be standing out to the right people. So if it's just, for example, if your brand is bold, or your offers are for the bold, dare to be bold. If your brand is empathetic and supportive, then, dare to be soft and caressing. That's, it's aligned. It feels right for your brand. It feels right for your audience. Even if your competitors are offering something in a completely different way, they are serving an entirely different segment of the market. So whatever it is that makes your brand unique, you need to lean into that and allow yourself to trust color to communicate your message. And, once you sort of establish your color palette and you're using it consistently, that's how you create brand recognition. Okay, so trend number 3, I just gave it away. Mistake number 3 is trends, following trends. So the problem with trends is that, for the 5 minutes that they are in fashion and trendy, that's cool. Like that, they're probably going to be attractive to your target audience if they are appealing to them. The problem with trends is that they date. And the more people that get on the bandwagon of the trend is that they then start to blend in. So if you get on, if you start riding the trend wave at the beginning of a trend, you're going to stand out, but then other people are going to start copying because they see it working. And then you're just going to be part of the muddy mediocre. Okay, so your brand will then become stale. It will require refreshing, and you're going to be needing to change your colors again, especially if this is like a little bit of a cycle that you've developed. So the key to fix this is to shun trends. Like, don't even take them on board. I don't even look at design trends when I'm designing brands. I'll let that sink in. A lot of designers do. I purposefully don't. Your brand, like to create a brand with longevity, requires you to have it to stand the test of time. Okay, you need to have a long-term plan. Think about the big vision. And if your brands are just chosen because of a trend, or because it's your favorite color, or because you're too scared to lean into color, or you're just not educated in how it works, if your brand colors are not aligned with your brand personality or your customers' wants, needs, desires, their emotional state, their desired emotional state, or your actual offering, it's going to be confusing, it's going to be off-putting, and you're running the risk of repelling sales rather than attracting them. So also, just if it's all feeling too hard, or you're rushing the process, the branding process as a whole, not necessarily just the choosing colors, this is actually choosing colors is actually one of the end byproducts of a very lengthy, in-depth process that I use for my one-on-one clients, but also through Brand Alchemy. Brand Alchemy is actually based on that exact process. And it's going to give you the answers that you're seeking if you're feeling overwhelmed with choosing brand colors. It's just one small part of communicating your brand. But by choosing willy-nilly, if that's what you are doing, unfortunately, you're sending a subliminal message that the presentation of your brand isn't important to you. And if you have a think about that, if that's the message that you're sending, what's this saying? Like, how is this helpful to your audience or potential customers? If you're not feeling confident in what you're putting out into the marketplace, whether that's, anything visually to do with your brand or any of your marketing messages, including colors, then they're not going to trust you. They're going to their confidence, if your confidence is not strong, their confidence in you will match however you are feeling. So the key thing that you need to know before you do anything that communicates your message in any way, including your brand colors, is to have your brand foundation in place and be confident in your strategy, and use this as the springboard to give you the answers that you are seeking when it comes to choosing your colors. So that was fun. I told you I get a bit passionate about brand colors. But, if you are feeling a little bit foggy about all of this, and I say things like brand strategy and foundations and, customers' emotional states, or, if you're just in branding in general, if you are feeling foggy, please get yourself on the get yourself registered for Brand Camp, because that will certainly open your eyes to how your brand works within your overall business plan. And we are going to be running through some key foundational elements when setting up your brand that every brand needs to know to be successful. So do that. Pop yourself on the waitlist to Brand Alchemy to learn more about the live program that I will be running. And I'm so excited to continue our color series next week. Thanks again. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this week's episode of Brand Lover, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening and share your biggest takeaway on Instagram or Facebook. And don't forget to tag me. I'd love to give you a shout out and thank you personally. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a review to help the Brand Lover podcast reach more heart-aligned entrepreneurs just like yourself. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.